Hey guys, so today I wanted to do a part 2 of how to understand and collect World War II uniforms. In part 1 I covered enlisted uniforms, and this video I'm going to cover the officer uniforms. So if you haven't had a chance already, check out part 1, and I hope you like this part on officer uniforms. So let's go ahead and bring you in and let's get started. Alright, so you see I got a table full of some really nice uniforms here. Table full there. And I wanted to shout out this book again, just like I did in part 1. This is an excellent book for learning about, uniforms, medals, insignias, all kind of stuff. So definitely check this book out, Finding Your Father's Wars. It is a great reference book. And like I've said over the years, reference material is very important when you're going to be collecting, because you want to have an idea and understanding of what you're wanting to collect so you don't get burned, don't waste your money, or just different situations like that. So definitely research reference materials is a good thing. And so I mentioned in the first video I covered enlisted uniforms, the dress uniform, which is also known the Class A, and then the Eisenhower jacket, also known the Ike jacket. And so this video, again, I'm going to cover the officer ones, but I do have some a couple enlisted uniforms here just to kind of use as reference for this video. And so what I wanted to show you is, so when it comes to officer uniforms, that would mean, lieutenant and above. Now, we know there's non-commissioned officers, like a sergeant, for example. But again, a lieutenant, captain, major, so forth, are the officer ones I'm referring to in this video. And so something you can notice about officer uniforms compared to most of the enlisted ones would be the color of the uniform. So you see this is a darker colored officer uniform. This one is actually the shorter one, which would be an Ike jacket. Behind it here I have the 4-pocket one, which is the dress jacket or the Class A. And then I also have this lighter khaki color, or almost not tan, but khaki colored one. This would be kind of like a summer one. This one would be worn during the summer. The darker one, a lot of times, would be worn in the winter months. Now, officers would also, sometimes wear just the basic olive drab uniform, which is what you see here as well. So there's different examples of those all here that I wanted to share with you. And so in the first video, I told y'all, if you watched it, if you haven't, please take a look at it. Just for example, a difference between an enlisted uniform and an officer one would be on enlisted uniforms, their rank or the chevrons would be on the arms. So this guy's a corporal. Whereas an officer one, his rank would be on the shoulder. This guy's a captain. And another example, this officer, he's a lieutenant right there. And then you got another lieutenant, which that's like a bullion rank right there. So again, the officer uniforms, their ranks would not be on the arm like the chevrons for enlisted soldiers. Another difference between officer uniforms and enlisted would be what's on the collar here, the lapels. So officer uniforms, they would have this, the national lettering, you could call it, of U.S. on the top lapel. Whereas, the enlisted, they would have on the right upper lapel or top, they would have this U.S. in this circular disc right here. So that's enlisted. And if you see these type right here, that would be officer. Another thing would be on the lower lapel would be the branch, basically. So this officer, he would have been in like an ordnance type branch, right? This officer, again, you see the U.S., he would have been infantry. And then this officer right here would have been armored. Whereas an enlisted man, see, he's infantry. He has the circular collar disc on his left lapel, the upper one. So again, that's another way you can tell the difference between an officer and enlisted. Besides, again, enlisted, the rank was on the arm. Officers on the shoulder. Again, you got the U.S. lettering with the branch underneath on the lower lapel. Whereas enlisted guys would be the U.S. on the right and then the branch on the left. So that's a couple differences right there. And so, there's always more to learn. You can't really say you know everything. I definitely don't know everything, but I definitely like putting videos like this together just to help you guys. And so something else I wanted to share with you is, there's also what's called distinctive unit insignias, or DIs. And so an example of that would be this right here. This is like an enameled crest, and this would basically represent the regiment or battalion that that soldier or officer was in within the whole division, or the whole unit. And so, for example, this man, he was in the 9th Armored Division. That's what he went to war with, that unit. And he actually transferred to the 4th Armored at some point later in his service, probably near the time when he was going to get out, maybe within a few months or so. And you see, he was a lieutenant at the time. And so this enameled crest, this DI, or distinctive insignia, would be for the 10th Armored Infantry. And that is actually basically a battalion of the 4th Armored. Even though he was mostly with the 9th, again, he transferred to the 4th at some point before he got out of the service. And so at some point before he got out, or maybe after he got out of the service, he attached these DIs on the shoulders to represent his exact unit he was in before he got out of the service, or right at the tail end of his service. So with officer uniforms, those would be where you see here. They would be on the shoulder area. Whereas an enlisted man, I don't have an example here. I should have grabbed one, but they would be on the lower lapels here of the front of his olive drab uniform. That would be right here because he's enlisted. Again, officer would be on the shoulder. And just some other things I wanted to show you is, again, the different examples. This right here is the short one, which would be an Ike jacket of an officer. This right here is a short version of an enlisted man. This would be an Ike jacket, enlisted man's uniform. I also wanted to show you guys, this right here is an enlisted man's four pocket dress jacket, also known as the Class A. And backtracking, I got a table full of uniforms here. The officer Class A would look like, like this right here. Again, the 4 pockets on the front, it's full length. Again, Class A, also known as a dress jacket. Here's another one here. This one has the belt across there. This one, I can't remember if the belt's in the pocket, if I'm missing it all together. But again, officer is the darker color a lot of times. If you see this, a lot of times this colored officer uniform was worn in the winter months. Whereas this one right here, this lighter color one, is known as the summer one, and it would be worn a lot of times during the summer months. But again, officers could wear, at times, they'd wear the olive drab, the basic wool uniform. They would also, have like M41 field jackets, M43 field jackets, and they would have their ranks on those as well on the shoulders. Because again, enlisted uniforms, the ranks are chevrons on the arms, and officers, it's not. There's so much, that could be gone over and everything. But I didn't want this to be just a very lengthy video. Just wanted to kind of cover some of the basics. Another uniform that I did want to show you guys here is the example of just the regular olive drab wool uniform of an officer. And so again, just kind of testing you guys. Just by looking at this uniform, how can you tell for sure that it's an officer uniform? So the ways to tell would be, again, the U.S. lettering there, the national lettering on the top lapels there. And then, see, this man here, he would have been in the medical corps. So he could have been a medic or maybe a doctor or something like that. So that's his branch insignia, right? So he's not only just an officer, we know that he was an officer in the medical corps. Again, he could have been a medic or a doctor or whatever. And then again, he was a captain. We know he was a captain because he's got the captain insignias on his shoulders. Again, there's no rank on the arm. There's no chevrons for, lieutenant and above. Once somebody gets above a sergeant, then they're an officer. Whereas, again, a sergeant, it would be like a non-commissioned officer, right? So they didn't go to, like, officer candidate school or something like that, like, a lot of lieutenants and captains, majors, and a lot of those guys went to. They went to school, right? And so you got non-commissioned officer and you got officer. And again, here's another example of just your regular enlisted man. See, he was a technician I'm running a blank now. I can't remember if it's 5th grade or 4th, but and then you see he's got more stuff going on the arms and stuff here as far as his length of service overseas. 3-year enlistment right there. He spent 1.5 years overseas. He was a quartermaster. See, that's his branch insignia, and he was, again, the U.S. enlisted disc there. If he was an officer, this quartermaster insignia, it would be a different style, but it would be down here on the lower lapel. And again, instead of his rank on the arm, his rank would be up here on the shoulder. But just kind of wanted to put a quick video together for you guys. I can't tell you enough about research and reference material and everything. And this book here, I'm going to show you again. Finding Your Father's Wars. This book is amazing. And I'm sure there's a lot more great books out there, but this is a good one that you definitely want to get. I've had this book for probably at least 12 to 15 years. I got it on eBay. I think I got it. It was regular 25 bucks. I think I got it for like maybe 12 or 15 or something. It's definitely worth having. But I hope you like this video, guys. Again, there's always more to learn. John Boy doesn't know everything, but I just kind of want to show you some of the easiest ways of identifying officer uniform compared to enlisted. You know, the more a uniform has going for it, the more you can maybe study or research or learn about that particular soldier's service and everything. Unfortunately, sometimes, you know, soldiers at the end of their service, they get out of the war, they don't even want to fool with their uniforms. They don't want to put the distinctive insignias on there, or any type of patches or anything, or ribbons or whatever. They'll throw their uniform away. That happened a lot. They wanted to forget the war, didn't want anything to remind them of it. So there is different variations between what you'll see on some officer uniforms or not. Again, some of the men would apply the things they were awarded or given as a way of, you know, remembering their service and maybe used for parades or whatever. And a lot of men wouldn't attach it, and they'd throw their uniforms away or throw them in a closet. I always tell people to check the pockets, because you never know. You might find some insignia, some extra patches, or whatever in the pockets. So always check the pockets of any uniforms, jackets, shirts, pants, and everything. And you never know what you'll find. But anyways, guys, I hope you like this video. If you can get a complete uniform, that's always a good thing. And complete, what I mean would be the undershirt with the tie as well, and also a pair of trousers. See, this one doesn't have trousers, but you could always, you know, add an extra pair of pants or a shirt if you wanted to. I know some people kind of frown on that, but if you were to sell it, you know, it might be a good thing to say, hey, by the way, this shirt or this pair of pants didn't originally come with this jacket, or, you know what I mean, or this coat. That's something I would do, because I like to buy stuff as complete as possible. You know, kind of like a canteen, you'd want the cup and cover. Like a helmet, you want the liner, and a bayonet, you want the scabbard, and so forth. But collecting uniforms is fun. I hope you found this video informative. Let me know what you think. I add to in the comments any info I might have missed. But I appreciate you guys watching very much, and I hope you like this video. Please give it a like, thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. God bless you, and I'll be getting back to you soon. Thank you.